Hello everyone! Welcome to Global People Daily News. Our virtual program today is Venturing in Between the Lines, in response to World Day of Copyright Day, which is also known as World Reading Day, and is celebrated annually on April 23rd. This event is organized by the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization to promote the importance of reading, publishing, and copyright. The day was first observed in 1995 to celebrate books as a powerful tool for education and cultural exchange. Since then, World Book and Copyright Day has become a global celebration of literature, encouraging people of all ages and backgrounds to explore the pleasures of reading and gain a better understanding of the importance of copyright. This event recognizes and celebrates all aspects of the book industry, including publishers, booksellers, and libraries. By promoting reading and protecting intellectual property, World Book and Copyright Day helps to support the growth of the book industry and ensure that everyone has access to quality literature. So, let's celebrate this special day by taking a moment to appreciate the power of books and the importance of copyright protection in our lives.
This book, Dude, You're a Dad, helped me transition to stay-at-home parent. A highlight from this book for me is, learn to use your soft voice and know when to talk with a deep tone voice.
Niye tavsiye ediyorum bu kitabı? Çünkü Türk insanının medeniyetin beşiği olan Anadolu'da daha sonraki dönemlerde nasıl yaşadığını anlatıyor. Köy hayatı, gelenekler, görenekler, Türk kültürünü tanımak açısından güzel bir kitap. O yüzden önerdim. İnce Mehmet, Yaşar Kemal.
Hi, my name is Amin Bashra. I'm originally from Toronto, Canada. And the book that I like the most is Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. The book is a fictional story about a sailor who travels to Africa during the colonial period, and it goes on search for colonial riches and discovers a lot of the bad things that European colonizers were doing to some of the locals there. And I really like the book because it was written in such a way that it's quite hard to read. And so the author, Joseph Conrad, intentionally wrote the book that way so that the reader could experience some of the emotions and challenges that the main character in the story was facing as he was trying to navigate through the jungle of, I believe it was in the Congo. More than that, though, I think that the story sheds a lot of light on this concept of civilized and uncivilized, where the European characters in the story come to Africa with the goal of civilizing or controlling what they perceived to be a uncivilized or savage race of people. And this assumption is what allows them to impose their own rules, religion, and culture on these people, which is unfortunately really sad. But as the story goes on, the main character discovers that it really is the European colonizers who are doing the savage things, and it's perhaps themselves who might be uncivilized based on the horrible things they're doing to people. So yeah, I think this book has impacted me because it's taught me the importance of how you view other people and how you define other people. We have a tendency to look at people who are different than us and say, oh, well, those people are very different. But sometimes it's just that, you're very much the same. And it's important to kind of realize that we're all just people at the end of the day. Yeah, and so that's why Heart of Darkness is my favorite book.
So I'm Emilia Suviola, and I'm an author. I have written 2 books, but here I want to introduce you a book as a reader, and it's called A Swim in a Pond in the Rain, and it's written by George Saunders, and the subtitle is In Which 4 Russians Give a Master Class on Writing, Reading and Life. So it introduces these Russian short stories, the book, and George Saunders comments on these short stories. And I think as a writer, it teaches me how to write better stories, but at the same time it teaches you a lot about life too, since it tells how us as human beings are complicated and but at the same time lovable characters in our lives, and how we can learn by reading, how we can learn about our values and what we want in our lives, and in the end what's the most important thing. It's usually people think is being loved, love and being loved. But at the same time, how hard it is many times, and this book kind of helps me to build stories and characters who are complicated and who sometimes contradict themselves, as we people do, and it helps me to build up stories which many people can identify themselves, since they kind of ring through when people are not perfect at all. So I highly recommend this book because you can learn on so many levels. You can learn to write better, you can read better, but at the same time you can learn about life.
Books have a unique way of capturing the essence of humanity. From different perspectives in the previous videos, we can see these books tell us many things about lives, values, and how to learn from other people. Through reading books, we can learn a lot, not only to improve our language abilities, but also to know ourselves and understand the true meaning of life. No matter what cultural or background we come from, we are all human beings, and we can all learn and grow from the book we read. As the saying goes, publishing books is like creating new lives. Publishers play an important role in providing readers opportunities to gain knowledge and learn from books. Next, I would like to welcome Ms. Zhang to share with us about her journey as a publisher. Let's welcome.
Hi， 我是一个出版商，在这个行业20多年。在进入出版之前，其实我是一个报社记者，也就是说，我在传播这个行业里，我大概有30年的经验。那在这30年里面，我见证了报纸被网络冲击，书籍被数位内容挑战。至今，报纸、书籍没有死亡，但是这个挑战一直存在，而且越来越大。包括现在最新的 AI、Chat GPT， 都可能会让出版消失。那身为业者，我们常常也在自问，出版业会不会不见了呢？书本会不会就消失了呢？但是走过这30年，我认为面对挑战的同时，报纸、书籍其实自己也在进化。进化来自于勇于接受挑战跟自我省思，在浪潮中去找出自己的自我价值，然后发挥长项，与他人合作，共同创新。企业如此，人生不也如此吗？这也是我一直在传播业30年仍能够继续乐此不疲的原因。因为这个工作带给我另外一个视窗，这个视窗让我接触，因为我接触了很多的人事物，所以呢，我从这个视窗里面看见了很多不同的角度，让我自己也一直有进化的感觉。虽然我是一个出版商，但其实我卖的也不只有书，我还卖文创商品跟课程。那以书来说，其实书就是一个提供我们另外一个视窗，一种用过来人看世界的系统。每一本书就是作者看世界的系统，透过作者看世界的方法，也帮助了读者扩展了看世界的宽度跟广度。我们这一生其实自己是无法穷尽所有的知识与经验，然而透过书可以有效的整合，组织出属于我们自己的知识系统。每一本书的后面其实是人。经营出版感觉上是在经营书，但其实它是在经营作者跟读者。为什么这个作者不去其他的出版社，而要来你这个出版社？为什么读者不去其他的出版社，而要来你这个出版社？表面上是经营书，但其实真正了解的是人。也就是说，理解读者为什么需要这本书，然后跟作者沟通，如何构成可以让读者容易了解这门学问。在理出这个书之前，其实理人是最重要的。也就是说，你理解了人了，你能够把这些头绪理得清楚的，那这个书就会顺利。所以有时候在做书做得很不顺的时候，就得回头去理解人的问题。等到对人理解了，书通常才会出得来。所以在出版20多年，我觉得我个人最大的磨练就是耐心跟理解人。每一次做书的不顺利，就是磨练我的心最好的机会。等到我愿意有耐心了，事情自然就会顺利。所以借势练心，借书练心，就是我个人觉得我在这个行业最大的收获。我有位作者，他专精热带雨林植物。2018我跟他出版了第1本书，至今他已经出版了4本，今年即将有第5本问世。他很诚恳地跟我分享，写书以来对他而言最大的收获不是名利，不是名气。他说他最大的收获就是认识了自己，因为他每一次出书，读者给他的回馈跟互动，当他再次出发的时候，他已经不是当时那个第一次出书的人了。所以一次一次的书写，让他更了解了自己，更清晰了自己的梦想。我也跟他分享，在从事出版的每一个工作里，我所面对的人事物，其实就是让我更增加了认识自己的机会。书本可以传达的是知识，然而书本也有传达不到的东西。古人说，世事洞明皆学问，人情练达即文章。在人生路途中，工作、家庭、亲情、爱情、友情种种的关系，种种人事物的应对，都只是一种风情，一种经验。重要的是，透过这些外在的风景，我们看见了自己内心什么样的风景呢？如何在经历种种的风景之后，仍然保有一颗原来纯净跟清晰的心？洞悉人情世故的应退进退，是书本跟课堂上无法学到。有形的是书本，无形的是书本背后要传达的人心。看书如看人，透过书本，我们更认识了自己，因此也更认识了他人。做书其实就是做人，这也是身为出版人的我最大的学习。
Thank you for sharing your insights of publishing industry and the evolution of books a newspaper in the face of digital challenges. It is inspiring to see how you have continued to evolve and adapt to changes in the industry over the past 30 years. Your perspectives on books as a window into the world is a refresher reminder of the value that they hold beyond just their tangible pages. It is evident that your passion for the industry extends beyond just selling books and that you are committed to providing your customers with a range of knowledge and experiences. Next, I would like to invite 2 more sharings about how they got inspired by the books they read. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Maya. I'm a postdoctoral research fellow here at the Brigham and Harvard Medical School, and I'm from Germany. My favorite, most recent book is a German book from an author called Marianne Leckie, and it's called Was man von hier aus sehen kann, like what you can see from here. It's basically a book about, it's a novel about this little community village and their interactions and just like human interactions. And the premise is basically that this one lady, whenever she dreams of an okapi, that means in the next 24 hours somebody is gonna die. But it's a very loving book about just human life and human relationships. I think it inspired me. I think it's very beautifully written, and it sparks so much joy despite dealing with death as a concept and as a theme, and just how loving human relationships can still be leading, not still, but like even in dealing with death and supporting each other and living with the knowledge that death is also imminent, I guess. I think it's nice because it's kind of a book where, but it's very difficult to describe even the plot, because it superficially is about death and like the topic is like officially about death, but then it's really much more about life and how death is like all around us, but also at the same time is not really, and it's something that we live with. I actually read this book as a part of a book club, and that was the only book that all of us just 100% purely enjoyed and loved, and I have gifted this book to a lot of people, and they have gifted that book themselves to a lot of people. So it just, I like universally feel like everybody that I've encountered with just loved this book. It is in German, but I think there's also an English translation. Yeah, I think her language is very particular, as like sometimes I'm not sure how well these translations are when like language itself also has like a very particular style, but yeah, I'm sure like that book really made me just feel happy.
My name is Ethan, and I am a biostatistics master's first year, and my favorite book is Moby Dick, the whaling story, very, very famous. My dad is obsessed with this book, and that's how I first heard about it. He has read it multiple times. It's known for being very long, and it's kind of regarded as like an American epic, like almost like Homer's Odyssey or something. It's just like this very grand romantic book about whaling. And so it took me a year to read it. Just loved every minute of it. Just very, very deep book. Covers whaling history. It's really a romantic novel. It's a very, kind of emotional, romantic novel, but it's kind of disguised as a technical manual. So it's very interesting. One that I remember very distinctly is like, it's a very dangerous lifestyle being a whaler. And so there's a chapter where he talks about gladly signing he's like making his will, because he thinks he's going to die soon because he's on this crazy voyage pursuing this monster whale. So it's a whole chapter just about what it meant for him to do that, and how he was actually kind of relieved after he did it, because he kind of had the sense that, you know, his life was something that he could let go of. He felt in some ways less fear, or it changed how he felt about his death. So that was one that really kind of affected me. You know, death was something that was bearable, you know, that it was something that you can kind of come to terms with instead of it being this really scary thing.
Thank you, Maya and Ethan, for sharing your personal connection to the two thought-provoking books. These two books are powerful reminders that death is a natural part of life. It's also important for us to rethink our approach to mortality and enjoy the happiness that can be found in lives and the power of human connections. The two sharings lead us to the next speaker, who will share her personal experience with dealing with death through writing a book about her father who passed away. Let's welcome Amy.
Hello everyone, I'm Amy and I would like to share with you the book by my father. It is in Chinese and it is 为爱走天涯踏密秋海棠. We got a English version, part of the book in English version too. It's called All for Love, Endless Trekking in Search of Begonias. So this is my father and he's a specialist. He's a Dr. Qing Yipeng, and he specializes in begonia, and he has been passed away for 5 years already. He left us 2018, and he was diagnosed blood cancer. He was really struggled to survive, but unfortunately he couldn't. But in the process, when he is sick, we were trying to encourage my father to have a purpose to live in every possibility. The publisher of my house, the publisher, Zhang Shuzhen 社长, she says something to encourage our family. So she know Dr. Peng for a really long time, but because my dad was really focused on his research, so he didn't have a chance to publish a book about begonia for everyone. This is a book about begonia for everyone, so it's not difficult, and it's full of the stories that he travels through the whole world to search for begonias. And look how begonia is, like how beautiful it is, and how much diversity it has. It is really interesting and really attractive for many persons, including my father. And I remember Zhang Shuzhen 社长, she encouraged us because she said, Dr. Peng, please share your love for begonia so more people could know begonia, know how beautiful it is. But my dad didn't say yes until one day he got really sick. And he said, okay, I would like to share with the world about the knowledge of begonia. He agreed to write a book for everyone, but it was a little too late because the cancer was really bad. He cannot barely write, he cannot barely move his whole body, his hands, his legs, his arm. He cannot do anything with his body, and he passed away, and there's a wish still left, and we thought it was impossible to share the book with people around the world because he's not there. But Zhang Shuzhen 社长 encouraged us. She said, we had a promise. I would like to fulfill the promise and still publish a book. I'm really grateful for what she does because it was a way to know my father again. With that book, I try to know what is he researching about, why he loves begonia so much, and what is the interesting part in begonia? What is so attractive for people around the world? And what is his experience on searching for begonia? We were trying to find the materials from his, he got a really big database, like paper recordings, voice recordings, video recordings, and books, and a lot of things. So we tried to collect information from that database and try to collect things that could be provided and collected to become a book. So we did it, and it's a really healing process of making the book. Making this book made me understand my dad more, and also like it feels like I was traveling with him along his research. So it was like he was live again. Process of making this book totally healed myself. Because of the book, I could be better again. I could be happy again. Because it was really sad for me to lose him. And I remember there are stories about me and begonia. My dad asked me to watering the begonia when I was really young. And when I was a student, I got summer vacation, winter vacation, and begonia was a really fragile plant. It needs a certain circumstance to survive. So it cannot be too hot, too dry, too wet. So it is quite difficult to raise a begonia. And in the summer in Taiwan, so it's almost 40 Celsius degree. So it's too hot for begonia. There is a air conditioning for begonia, and also we have to water the begonia very carefully, maybe twice a day in the summertime. My father asked me to do that when I was a student, and I accept the job, but not really willing to do it because it's kind of like holding me back from Saturday and Sunday. So I could not go shopping or go hanging out with my friends because I have to water the plants. That was a funny memory to me. Because of this experience, I know better about begonia. This is a book called 为爱走天涯踏密秋海棠, and it includes 3 parts. The first part was talking about my dad, Dr. Chin Yipeng. He went to search for begonia in the world and why he's in love with begonia, and many failed trip experience when searching the begonia. That's the first part. Second part is written by my mother. Because my dad is a scholar of begonia, so he traveled all around the world to interact with other scholars that also love begonia in the world. My mom sometimes accompanied with my dad to travel around the world. The second part is they share begonia informations, like the garden they went around the world, how people grow begonia in different parts of the world, like meeting friends through begonia. And the last part is introduction of several different beautiful begonias. When my father started to research begonia, and he collect many species, and he had a greenhouse to grow all these begonias, and when they are really beautiful, he will take a beautiful picture for them. Every year he got a begonia calendar out there for his friends and maybe scholars around the world. And there's some information around the picture. This part was from the calendars he made when he was here. That's a lot you can see. Yeah. and also included Taiwan's 19 species of begonia. That's a story of how this book was made. And there was an English version you can find on Amazon. You can find the book on Amazon and also on Google Book. It's a translated version of the first part of this book. So it's about his story traveling around the world. And we translate his story into English to share with everyone. That's a story, and I hope you enjoy it and find the love of your life.
Thank you, Amy. Your story is truly heartwarming. I'm happy to know that you found solace in writing, and I believe you will continue to heal. After hearing your story, it made me think about what I would do if I were to face a life-changing event. So, I would like to pose the same question to all of you. What methods will you use to get through difficult times? We will explore this topic further through the stories shared by our upcoming speakers, all of whom have written books about overcoming adversity and reducing pain. Let's welcome.
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm a master science student at the Chan School. I study environmental health. Recently, one of my favorite books has been Educated by Tara Westover. And I don't remember a specific quote about the book, but I just thought her story was really inspirational. She came from a really horrible and traumatic background, and she was able to overcome a lot. And I just found the book really chilling and just inspirational for me. And I think, even though I don't remember like a specific quote, I think she just writes really well. And it's amazing, given the fact that she didn't have public education growing up, how well of a writer she is. I think it just reminds me of like, you can overcome obstacles. You know, like her story was really traumatic, and like a lot of it was unfortunately because of her family. I think she helped like normalize, I guess, feelings that people might have like if they're in a similar situation.
I love his quotes on the concepts of suffering. He said suffering is a state of unfulfillment and dissatisfaction, and it starts in the mind. He said, whenever there is wanting, the mind is not peaceful, which causes it struggle, and whenever there is struggle there is suffering. When we begin to think about the things we lack, things we don't want to lose, that particular state of satisfaction and dissatisfaction, we begin to suffer. Based on his concept of achieving enlightenment, he said if we are able to separate the mind from the body, we can reduce suffering. And this can be achieved through meditation.
Hi, my name is Nahmet, and I'm a student at Harvard in the public health program, and I was asked to share a little bit about my favorite book. So one of my favorite books is The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, and this is one of his most famous works. Khalil Gibran was a Lebanese American writer, poet, and artist, and he wrote this book in 1923. So it is a beautiful collection of short stories that covers many themes that are universal to our human experience. Things such as friendship, love, death, freedom, beauty. And I find that it's a timeless book that I often will refer to and reread and gain new insights each time I read it. It's a very deep book. So one of my favorite passages from the book is from the chapter on self-knowledge. And I'll just read you a brief passage from that section. And a man said, "Speak to us of self-knowledge." And he answered, saying, Your hearts know in silence the secrets of the days and the nights, but your ears thirst for the sound of your heart's knowledge. You would know in words that which you've always known in thought. You would touch with your fingers the naked body of your dreams. And it is well you should. The hidden wellspring of your soul must needs rise and run murmuring to the sea, and the treasure of your infinite depths would be revealed to your eyes. But let there be no scales to weigh your unknown treasure, and seek not the depths of your knowledge with staff or sounding line. For self is a sea boundless and measureless. Say not, I have found the truth, but rather I have found a truth. Say not, I have found the path of the soul. Say rather, I have met the soul walking upon my path. For the soul walks upon all paths. The soul walks not upon a line, neither does it grow like a reed. The soul unfolds itself like a lotus of countless petals. So, I hope you enjoyed that excerpt from this book. I highly recommend it, and I hope you have an opportunity to read Khalil Gibran's The Prophet.
Hey everyone, my name is Anne. I'm an attorney currently residing in California. World Reading Days is celebrated on April 23rd. To commemorate this meaningful day that encourages more people to read and write, I would like to share some tips with everyone today on how to show our appreciation to all the hardworking authors. A copyright is a type of intellectual property that grants the owner the exclusive right to copy, distribute, adapt, display, and perform a creative work for a specific period of time. The creative work could be literary, artistic, educational, or musical in nature. A literary work is copyrighted as soon as the words are written down, typed, or otherwise recorded. As a result, copyright protection for a novel begins the moment the author writes it. To receive copyright protection, the author does not need to place a copyright notice on his or her book or register it with the Copyright Office. As such, the golden rule in copyright laws is to obtain express permission from the owner, creator, or holder of the copyrighted material. You may not use the work unless you are the creator of it. This is true even if a work does not bear a copyright symbol. As such, if you want to share any creation, whether it is an essay, a narrative, or a golden sentence, or even a concept in a book, remember to cite. Tell the reader the source of this sentence, including the title of the book and the name of the author. You can also provide URL hyperlinks from legitimate sources so that more readers can read the full text. I hope the information above helps you better understand copyright. Happy World Reading Day!
Through the above sharing, we have gained insights into how we can take some tips to protect the author's intellectual property and ensure that their hard work is respected. As we move forward, I hope that we will all take what we have learned today and put it into action. We can start by being more mindful of the small things that we can do in our daily lives to protect the rights of authors and creators. Whether it is avoiding piracy, citing sources, or giving proper credits. It is truly inspiring to hear the stories of our guest speakers and learn from their experiences. We have gained valuable insights into the challenges that the authors had faced and the dedication and hard work that goes into producing a book. Once again, I would like to extend my gratitude to our guest speakers for sharing your stories with us, and to all of you for joining us today. Let us all continue to support each other and work toward a better future of the book industry. If you like our event today, feel free to like, subscribe, and we'll be really glad to have you leave your comments and any sharings. Thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you again at our next event. Bye bye!